Almost will be posted after. Okay, I wanted to start a series regarding issues of Muktzah, which we haven't touched on. And today we're just going to have an introduction. And next week and the future weeks, we'll get into a lot of the details of Inyani Muktzah. What does Muktzah mean? What does the word Muktzah mean? Hopefully the Marmakomos will be given, we'll send out to the chat afterward. But what does Muktzah mean? So Muktzah, literally the definition of Muktzah is off limits, set aside, set away, set away. You could have, the Gemara uses the word Muktzah even for Muktzah of Avodah Zarah also, designated for. You set it aside for. So Muktzah is the opposite in Hilchot Shabbos of Muchan. Muchan means it is prepared, it is ready, it is useful, it is usable. Well, Muktzah means separated and set away and something that we're not going to use. Muktzah is one of the areas of Shabbos that come up all the time. There are some areas of Shabbos that come up sometimes. There's some areas of Shabbos that never come up. And there are some areas of Shabbos that come up pretty often. And Muktzah is one that comes up pretty often. So it's important to know general messages of Muktzah, the halakhas of Muktzah, and the different categories of Muktzah, in that there are 7 or 8 different categories of Muktzah that one has to be aware of. Where did Muktzah come from? It's not one of the 39 malachas. It is a world that, according to most, is D'Rabbanan. It's a world that is D'Rabbanan. The Rambam writes in Hilchot Shabbos in Perach Chav Daled, and the Perach Chav Daled halacha Yud Beis Yud Gimel. The Rambam gives a couple of reasons for the isurim for the world created by the Rabbanan of Muktzah. Asur Chachamim l'taltal mixas dvarim b'Shabbos. The Chachamim forbade movement of certain items on Shabbos k'derech she'osa b'chol, in the way that it's moved on weekday. Why did they create the world of Muktzah? If I'm not doing a malacha, so why can't I move my computer? Why can't I move my my fancy this? Right, Muktzah, what's the matter? Amru, they said, Uma'im is Yiru Nevi'im. See, the Rambam gives three reasons. 3 reasons for Muktzah. Uma'im is Yiru Nevi'im. And they commanded that your walking on Shabbos should not be like you're walking during the week. And your conversations on Shabbos are not supposed to be like your conversations during the week. If your walking is supposed to be different and your talking is supposed to be different, then what you handle is also supposed to be different. What you're involved in is also supposed to be different. So it's not just a weekday. It's not like every other day. And you might come to pick up ulasakin kalim and to fix things. I might clean out my garage on Shabbos. I'm not doing any malacha. What am I doing? I'm just cleaning. And it'll just be like a weekday. So I'm sitting at home anyway. I'm not going to work. And it comes out that I did not rest, and here's a key line of the Rambam. And the Torah says you're supposed to rest on Shabbos. What did the Rambam just do? Was he quoting a pasuk here? We're talking about Muktzah. Muktzah is the world of D'Rabbanan. What's he quoting a pasuk for? To explain the Achronim. Sometimes there are details of a mitzvah that are D'Rabbanan, but when I fulfill them, it's a kiyum daraisa. Chiyuvim D'Rabbanan, but a kiyum daraisa. There are other examples of this, where details, Amir La'akum might be this too. But the Rambam is telling us, if I fulfill the laws of Muktzah are obligatory only midrabanan. But when I fulfill them, I create a reality of shvisa midoraisa. And the Rabbanan told us how to help fulfill that. And that's why the Rambam quotes the pasuk of Laman Yanuach. Again, because we need to create differences between Shabbos and weekdays. So if our walking is different and our talking is different, so too, what we're involved in has to be different. Reason number 1 of the Rambam. Number 2, va'od. Number 2, zera. If I'm allowed to handle scissors and pens and staplers and kalim shemalachtam le'isur, there's a good chance I might use them. Imagine without the laws of Muktzah. Imagine you could carry your wallet in your pocket and pens. I'm telling you, if I had a pen in my pocket and I was learning on Shabbos, many times I would violate. I would, because often I'm learning and all of a sudden I want to underline something. Like my hand goes to my pocket and I'm like, oh, it's Shabbos. There's no pencil there. It happens because the Rabbanan knew what they were talking about. Zera, if I'm handling something, if I have something in my hand, so then there's a good chance I'm going to use it. So number two issue of Muktzah is that I said nothing that could lead to a malacha in your hand. Maybe, and there's hints of this in the Gemara. If you're able to carry all different things on Shabbos, live in a place without an Erev, you might come to carry outside, and then it's a problem. So the Rabbanan wanted to limit as many things from your hand on Shabbos, so you don't have to carry it outside. Similar. That's reason number two. Whether it's malachos or daf b'hotzah, like the Rabbi says, that's number two. And finally, the Rambam says, and I think we could understand this more in our day right now. This reason really, it's a cord.
Rabbi, we're losing you a little bit.
For some people,
Rabbi,
that don't.
Rabbi, we didn't hear what you just when you started reading the source. You cut off.
Where was I cut off from?
Before you said we could relate to this nowadays, and then you got cut off.
Okay, we're back. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did we lose you? What was the last thing I said?
You said that this could strikes a chord with us nowadays.
It strikes a chord with us nowadays because the Rambam says the third idea in the Rambam, he says there are many people that aren't professionals and they're home all day anyway. And the Rambam says, "V'teilim kol yamein, yoshvei kronos, kol yamein shosim malacha, im yemuter lahalech u'ledaber l'talta shar yamim nimtzo shaloshav ashvisa nikeretz." Imagine, and I think nowadays, imagine a time without electricity, without other modern inventions. You have to be home. Let's say you're quarantined in your house. And you were able to handle all different things in your house. What would be the difference between Shabbos and weekday? There wouldn't be much difference. You're home, right? In a day where you didn't, there wasn't electricity. Rambam says you need a shvisa nikeres. That's the language of the Rambam. You need a recognizable difference in behavior between Shabbos and weekday. And therefore, the Rambam says, the Rabbanan attack and target in many different areas that we are involved in to say, don't be involved in those on Shabbos, and in that way, we can create a difference. Again, these are three ideas of the Rambam. Number one, to create Laman Yanuach, a fulfillment of a day of rest. Number two might be Gzera. Gzera, you might come to do malachas. And number three, to have a recognizable shvisa to an outsider that we're involved in different things on Shabbos than we are on Yom Tov. Number one. Number two, second point to make, this is kind of what the Rambam already said, but just to emphasize it, because it's said by Rishonim already. The Isurei D'Rabbanan of Shabbos are not just Isurei D'Rabbanan, they're different than other Isurei D'Rabbanan in other areas of halacha. Isurei D'Rabbanan of Basar B'chalav is purely D'Rabbanan. Isurei D'Rabbanan of most areas are purely D'Rabbanan. Isurei D'Rabbanan of Shabbos help create the Daraisa elements of Shabbos. This is said by the Ritva, this is said by the Ramban. The Ramban in last week's Parsha, in Parshas Emor, says this. Derech Chav Gimel Pasach Chav Daled. And I'm not going to read it, but I'll read it one line. Then it's Tavinu min haTorah lios lo menucha afilu midvarim she'enan malacha. The Torah itself wants us to stay away from activities that aren't even a malacha in order for us to be able to have a positive experience of Shabbos, even on a D'oraisa level. And if we, again, like the Rambam said, and we already explained it, if somebody would schlep things from here to there, and they can have their store open, and people go in and take stuff and buy stuff on credit, and there were no Muktzah issues, so then it could just be like a weekday. So the area in the whole world of Muktzah partially is about creating a day that is different. And there are kiyumim d'oraisa in the world of Muktzah, even though it is a world that was created by the Rabbi. Okay, that's all. It's just all background. A couple of points. What is Muktzah? So before we get to the categories of Muktzah, what are you not allowed to do? So what's clear is one is not allowed to directly move something that is in the category of Muktzah. One is not allowed to move something that is in the categories of Muktzah. One is allowed, the Shulchan Aruch says, it's in Minchin Ches, Sif Membeis, you're allowed to touch Muktzah. If I go over with my finger and I go, boop, that's okay. That's mutter. There's no isser of moving Muktzah. There's only no isser of touching Muktzah. You just can't move it. If there are things that when you touch it, it for sure moves, that's the problem. But the Shulchan Aruch says, as long as you don't move it. The Shulchan Aruch quotes that. And if you look in the Shulchan Aruch also, earlier in Siv Gimel, that same Shimon Shinches is the Siman in Shulchan Aruch about Muktzah. Says the Shulchan Aruch, Kol Muktzah in Osir Elabit till too the Ramah quotes, are you still with me? Did it froze again?
You're good, Rabbi.
Froze again?
You're good.
But I'm good, you hear me?
Yeah.
Let me just see, hold on one second. Okay, so the Shulchan Aruch says that one is allowed to touch Muktzah but not move Muktzah. Therefore, you could lean on Muktzah. Shulchan Aruch quotes the Trumas Hadeshen. Mutter liga b'menorah shebebeis haknesses b'neros dokos alav. They used to have a big menorah in the shul, let's say next to steps. So you could hold on to the menorah to get up the steps. That's okay, as long as you're not moving Muktzah, as long as you are only touching a Muktzah. This is the Trumas Hadeshen, says you're allowed to support yourself on a stationary menorah. The poskim, though, point out that this is only mutter, that you're allowed to touch Muktzah if you're touching it for your own needs, like the case of the Trumas Hadeshen. You're supporting yourself. Let's say I wanna go up the steps, I'm gonna hold onto a rock to hold myself and steady me. So that's okay. Because touching Muktzah is okay if it's for the person. But for the davar hamuktzah itself, so then that's a problem. That's what the Trumas Hadeshen says. That to touch Muktzah, if it's for the davar hamuktzah, that's not allowed. So where does that come up? Let's say you have something that's expensive. I don't know. You see money on the floor, and you want to cover it so that you could come get it after Shabbos or something. So what if the cover is going to touch the Muktzah? So that could be a problem. Also, touching Muktzah is okay if you're touching it with tzarech yourself. So touching it with tzarech davar hamuktzah could be a problem. Post can talk about what about the in those days. Let's say there was a chicken that laid an egg on Shabbos. So you want to cover it. You don't want it to get broken. So you put a bowl over the egg. What if the bowl touches the egg? So that's what the post can talk about. That if you put an egg over a bowl, that could be a problem if it touches it, because you're doing that with tzarech davar hamuktzah. You're not doing that for yourself. So yes, only touching Muktzah, only moving Muktzah is a problem, but not touching Muktzah. But if the touching Muktzah is for the tzarech davar hamuktzah, then it could be a problem as well. Yeah, but that's a rule of touching versus moving. What is not included? What's not included in Muktzah? Anything that is inherently muchan is not included. So all food. All food is, even if I didn't think that I was going to eat it on Shabbos, that's not a problem. Shulchan Aruch says, Kisvei HaKodesh v'ochlin muter l'taltalam afilu shlo l'tzarech klal. I can move bread from one side of the room to the other side of the room. There's no problem with something that's inherently red, mukhan, food, and kalim, and svarim, right? Any of that, that's all muktzah, because that's all mukhan, because Chazal wanted to make sure that there were certain items that were not included. Again, this is not anything having to do with a kli that has an inherent use, any type of bowl or plate or fork, any of that obviously is not included. Ocha v'kalim. Almost everything else besides ocha v'kalim and svarim potentially could be muktzah. And that's what we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks, I think. Hopefully, maybe 3 weeks, we could try to do it. Kli shem l'achta le'isser, muktzah machmas cheser and kiss, muktzah machmas gufo, muktzah machmas isser, muktzah machmas mitzvah, nolad, basis l'davar aser. These are all things that come up all the time. It sounds like a lot of different categories, but B'ez Hashem, we'll try to make some order and sense to it. Yeah, Yonatan.
Kalim refers to food kalim specifically, because what's defined as a kli?
Food kalim. Yeah, like bowls and plates and cups and forks and knives. Right. There are other kalim that are kli shem l'achta le'isser would obviously be a problem. Yeah, Ariel.
What counts as letzorach atzmo and what counts as letzorach hadavar muktzeh? Because I mean, the egg, is that for me or is that for the egg? I want the egg. It's for me or is that for the what's the
I want the egg. I want the egg long term. But right now, the short term, I'm moving this bowl to protect the egg. I'm not doing it to help me right now. That's why it will be called the egg. So again, it's a little tricky, but again, that there are some as we'll talk about it in the world of muktzah. There are some areas of muktzah that are very surprising. One might say, like it could be like something very little small, like your driver's license might be muktzah, might be more muktzah than, let's say, a car. Something is. I remember that post can talk about. Well, I'm jumping ahead, but just one of these surprising halachas. I'll just say, like in the days of old, let's say you lived in a place and you wanted you didn't have enough room in your refrigerator, so you wanted to, find a place to put sodas. So let's say you live in a cold environment. What about putting sodas in the trunk of your car? You would think like, what? That's crazy. So nowadays there are lights that go on, so it doesn't work. Like in the front, there are lights that go on. But in the days of old, I remember cars that, it's like dead until you turn the car on. So putting stuff in the trunk of the car is a possibility, because we're going to see a car could be a kli shem l'achta le'isser in the trunk. So there are some fascinating and surprising halachas that we'll have to talk about. What happens if you come back to your room and your computer or your phone is on your bed? How do you get into bed? What if you left some muktzah items on a table? There are a lot of halachas. These come up all the time, and we have to know what to do, because we don't want to be too makel. We also don't have to be too machmir. So we'll have to see exactly what the halachas are, and we'll pick up with that by the Hashem next week. I'm sorry, today's just be a little shorter, but I just I got to run. Hashem and Ellie for cheer later. I'm not exactly sure what time,